Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Man Cave. As always, I'm Josh, and joining me tonight, as usual, is Shane. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. If I complained, it really wouldn't do much good anyway, so hey.
I never knew you were a Yankee fan. For all those who are listening, Josh is wearing a Yankee hat.
I am. I've been a Yankee fan for a while. I was like Derek Jeter. He was a pretty good player.
Yeah, one of the best to ever play shortstop. But hey, one of their pitchers was from where I live now,
Really?
like Messina.
Yeah,
This is
really?
like back in the day. Yeah,
Wow, I
my
didn't know
mom
that.
my mom used to work with his dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle, which they were in the vlog, you'll see. My aunt and uncle, they live in Wisconsin. They personally know Danica Patrick's parents, and they like go to
Okay.
church with
Cool.
her and everything,
Cool.
like
Yeah.
with,
So I
with the
have
parents.
a couple signed baseballs from Mike Messina, but just because of my mom knowing his dad and everything. So
Sure.
that's it's pretty cool. I'm a Pirates fan, but
Yeah, Pirates are okay. Yeah, I like them.
they're gonna trade everybody away, but whatever. But that's not the topic of
Yeah,
this
no, this
episode.
is not
We
a
always do
baseball
this. Sorry,
episode.
sorry.
So,
I saw the Yankee hat, had to comment.
sure,
Um,
no, it's okay.
I
This
know
is
the viewers can't see you or us talking right now, but I just wanted to point that out.
this is the pandering part of the episode. Tonight we're gonna be talking about our top 5 favorite bands or artists, whatever.
And yeah,
So,
some
since Shane is not too keen with the skinny of the deets, I'm going to go first, and then he's going to follow my lead with how I list them because he wasn't sure if we're going 1 to 5 or 5 to 1 or what. So, here we go. Number 5 for me. Number 5. Favorite, fifth favorite group, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. They have this. Are you familiar with them, Shane? Do you know much about them?
I know their one song, I think, but
It was in
do you know
Forest.
just
It was in Forrest Gump. Fortunate One. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, maybe
It
that
ain't
one, but
me. I ain't no fortunate one. No.
okay, maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of, but I'm sure I know their music. I just don't
Yeah.
know because like my in-laws listen to all the oldies like all summer long, so I'm sure I heard them throughout the years.
Sure. You've heard CCR. So they're just this really great band. They're from LA, which they sound like they're from like Louisiana or something, but they've got this really swampy sound and the guitar is just on point. This is very classic sounding. That's just the best way to describe it. They have a very good down home, down in the like in a bayou or something. Like if you were walking through a bayou in Louisiana and like a fucking alligator was coming around the corner or something, you'd be hearing like one of their songs. It's just one of those things. Like it sets a tone every single one of their songs, and it's great. It just can't be beat. They're paralleled by none for sure. And I've actually seen them. Uh, they have Creedence Clearwater Revisited. It's the original drummer and the original bass player. They have like 3 other guys that they have with them. I saw them and it was really good. So yeah, that's my number 5. And I would have to say my favorite song by them. They have a cover of "I Heard It Through the Grapevine," originally done by Marvin Gaye. I believe it was Marvin Gaye who did it originally, and it's tops. So check out Creedence Clearwater. Shane, what's your number
Okay,
5?
and I just want to preface this with Josh and I have very different musical tastes, so we're
Very
gonna have
different.
we're gonna have two different, completely different lists.
But we do
But
we do we do join together. Like we
yes,
both like the Beebs and
yep.
shit like that.
Number five is actually a band I'm assuming you'd like too. Is Bon Jovi.
I love Bon Jovi.
See, yeah. So,
Well,
um,
they're not amazing to me, but they're pretty good. But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I just have memories of singing to Bon Jovi in the car with my mom. So, like, that's what I always, think of when I think of Bon Jovi. And there's some other, songs that bring up some memories and all that. But I want to say my favorite song by them is "Wanted." I'm not sure why. It's just when you're driving down the car and you just go "Wanted." Yeah, it's just
Wanted. That's
dead
called.
or alive.
It's
Yeah,
called
it's
Dead
just
or Alive. You dummy.
I I
No,
swear it's called Wanted.
I swear it's called Dead or Alive.
Okay, well I'm a dumbass for saying my fifth favorite band and I
My
don't
favorite
understand.
song is not the name of the song. No, hey,
Well, okay.
it's
Anyways,
common misconception. Common
yeah.
misconception.
Um, and playing Rock Band with all their songs on it and stuff too, and just jamming out.
One of our
Um,
favorites to play on Rock Band was Lay Your Hands on Me.
and I'm a dumbass too. When I said Rock Band, I meant Guitar Hero, but
Hey,
same game, just different
different format.
studios.
I
But
think
yeah,
my
that's
favorite song of theirs is Bad Medicine.
okay. Yeah.
I love that song. So, moving on, my number 4 is AC/DC. I have always loved AC/DC, whether it be Brian Johnson's raspy voice or Bon Scott's high pitched melodic voice. You can't go wrong. And then, of course, Angus Young and Malcolm Young with their guitar, and um, Phil Rudd with his great drumming, and of course, Cliff Williams. I almost forgot his name, bass player. It's just, they're so good, and they've got this like heavy metal sound for a hard rock band. Like, and what's interesting, when they play the guitar, like when they play the stuff, you would think it'd be, they'd have a lot of distortion with their music. They actually play all their stuff through a clean channel on their amplifiers. It's not, there's no distortion added to it. It's just how they pluck the strings with the picks and how they have their tone settings and stuff. They're one of a kind. They really are. They are very unique. And I've always loved AC/DC. My cousin Dexter and I, we had this band called the Cousins, where it was me and him. And by band, I mean he had drumsticks that he got at a yard sale, and he would play drums on his laundry hamper, and I would play air guitar, and we'd just sing along the songs. It was like stupid shit that kids do. AC/DC and my number 2 spot on this list were huge staples for our set lists. But yeah,
Okay.
so AC/DC and I go way back.
I wasn't sure if you were done.
No, it's
Okay.
okay.
My number 4, it's a newer artist, Sam Hunt. Do you know who Sam Hunt
I
is?
have no idea who that is.
Okay. He's country, but he mostly talks in his songs kind of. So it's like rapping country, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Um he's not everyone's cup of tea, and I get that when people are just like we like Willie Nelson and all the old people and Merle Haggard and stuff, but I like Sam Hunt. Um Obviously his songs are more relatable to me because it's more modern than the
Sure.
old stuff. Not that the old stuff's not good. Um but yeah, it's just I don't know. I like to sing it in the car. Mainly, my favorite bands are people I can sing with in the car. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen to screamo. I don't listen to like a 17-minute long guitar solo. Not that that's not good music. I just like to jam out and sing. So
Sure.
that's why
You know,
that's why I have him as on my number 4.
and that's really what you need. If you can enjoy singing along to them and stuff, then fuck what anybody else says. Number 3 for me. It used to be number 2, but it's number 3. It's the Beatles. I
Oh yeah, the Beatles.
I fucking
Okay.
love the Beatles. I shouldn't have to explain why, but I will. The Fab Four from Liverpool, so great. Started out in 1955 as the Quarrymen with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Stuart Steincliffe, Pete Best. Started out together. Stuart dies. Bring on George Harrison. Paul McCartney goes to bass, and Pete Best leaves, goes to another group. They get Ringo Starr, and they start playing all these clubs in Hamburg, Germany. They go over to the Ed Sullivan Show, and they become so fucking big. They have all these songs, all these albums that are just so wonderful. They start out really pop, really like melodic, and everyone can just sing along. It's great, and then they start experimenting, and they get more into instruments and drugs and stuff, and their music becomes more wide and vast and really deep. And they pump out great songs such as "Come Together," "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," "Something," which was voted, like Frank Sinatra said, that it was like the best love song ever written. Um, which, fun fact, Something by the Beatles was written about the same woman that Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton was written. Pattie Boyd. It was George Harrison's wife. She left him and married Eric Clapton. So that's kind of cool. Fun fact. But yeah, there was a time, and I don't know if you're like this or not, but like when I find a new artist or I get into an artist, they're like all I listen to. And I go through phases. I went through like a 2-year phase where it was 100% Beatles. That's all I really cared about. They're amazing, and they didn't make a bad song. That's all I have to say.
So the song I don't like, I like the least from them is "Here Comes the Sun."
I'm gonna smack that patchy ass beard off your face.
At a high school graduation, and I don't know. I never got into that song. I like all the other songs. Like there's no other songs that but that song for some reason it just had. From when I first had to sing it, I was like, I don't really like this one.
I should hang
but
up on
Hey
you
Jude,
right now.
I love Hey Jude.
Oh, Hey Jude is amazing.
Yeah, who doesn't love Hey Jude? Anyways, my number 3, completely opposite direction, Eminem.
Eminem's great. I like Eminem.
I grew up with Eminem, obviously, or not obviously, but like I don't know, the first really memory I have with that is I think is it Mockingbird? Is this the first song he sang for Haley?
Yeah.
I listened to that one like on repeat in my CD player. So, yeah, so that I had that, and just all his other albums. Even though this newest one is probably the greatest one he ever put out, there's still songs that like the one with Ed Sheeran I'd still listen to, and Bad Guy on the Marshall Mathers 2.
Mm-hmm.
I can just play that one on repeat. It's the response to Stan. So like it's just Stan is just an amazing song
Stan
to begin with.
Good,
but
yeah. I like I always liked his first album. He had I can't remember. It was Red. It had like Without Me and
it's
Clean Out My Closet and shit like that on there. I loved that album. I had that one. If I'm sure you have, but you should check out Dr. Dre's album 2001. There are like 3 tracks on there where Eminem's rapping with him. It's really good. It was before he had his own album or anything. Before he had I can send you links to the songs you should listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eminem's really good. Really good.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that I started listening to him in middle school because Alyssa's just like, you're not gonna listen to that in the car when we have kids because they don't need to hear about violence against women and all that stuff. And then we watched the commercial about his new CD, and it's like he apologized to Kim, so everything's good now, I think.
Did you know that he watched his daughter graduate high school? He watched Haley graduate high school like in another classroom so that she would be able to have her moment and not be about him. That's really
that's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah. But he's a cool guy.
He's kind of an asshole, but he's also a pretty cool guy at the same time.
I feel like he's an asshole if you are like in the outer shell, but like if you become good friends with him, he might still be an asshole to you, but like he'll like give you like $50 million to go buy a house or something.
Maybe not that much, but yeah.
I just picked a number and just went with it.
Sure. Are you ready for my number 2?
Yep.
Number 2, Kiss. I could talk all fucking day about Kiss. I went and saw them last year. I saw Gene Simmons this year. And next year, so on May 4th, Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, my mother-in-law and I are going to go see him up in Fort Wayne with my brother-in-law. And then we're going to leave for Disney the next day. I'll tell you more about that later. Anyway, so, yeah, it just kind of got decided like 2 days ago. But anyway, Kiss, oh my God, Kiss. This Kiss, let me tell you, unstoppable. Just kidding. Kiss is fucking amazing, man. Like, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Peter Criss, Ace Frehley. They started this band that just knew and like no one had ever done the shit they did. That's why their song Firehouse off of their first album called Kiss was the intro to this podcast, because it's just, they start out so fresh, so just, they start out at 100%. A lot of bands, they kind of get the ball rolling a little bit with their first album, and then boom, they hit the top. They started out right from the top, and then they just kept going from there. And Ace Frehley, with it, he didn't learn music like traditionally. So like whenever he would bend the strings and do like a vibrato, like instead of doing it with his finger, he would just shake the whole neck of the guitar, and they had like cheap amps but good guitars, and like the tone was off, but it's just like they created their own sound, and yeah, they just I don't know, I don't know why I'm getting like speakers block, because I could talk about them all the time, but they're a great band, guys. Check them out. Love Gun, Shock Me, Detroit Rock City, Kissin' Time, Hotter Than Hell. I could go on and on and on. Just so many great songs, and not enough time in the world to listen to it. Shane, what's your number two?
Okay, so it's funny that you say they made their own music. My number two actually makes their own music. Pentatonics.
Oh,
Yeah, they do covers, but it's all a cappella,
yeah,
and it's just we just saw them when we came back from the beach in September. We saw the original five
right.
because
Before that
the
one guy
bass
left.
left. Yeah, the bass left, so that's super sad and everything. But his music I can't really get into. It's like indie, like super indie. But yeah, they have high energy. They interact with their fans. The two have their own side project, Superfruit, that vlog and make music videos and all that. But yeah, their self-titled album where it's like all originals except for like one or two maybe. It's all good. Like I have it playing in my car right now that I can drive to work and just get a good mood. Once again, sing along to it and you know get ready for the day or come home. And because whenever I come home from work, the radio sucks. It never plays any good music. On Monday, like on Fridays, it's all slow music. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because they think people are gonna be so excited they can't play any party music at 5 o'clock, so they play like the most depressing stuff to kill your mood. So you have to put the CD in, jam out to whatever you have, and because I don't have an aux cord in my car, so I'm stuck with whatever CD I want to put in.
Oh wow, my truck has a CD player, but there's a CD stuck in it. And our car, it's a 2016 Kia Soul. There's no aux cord. No, there's an aux cable plug in, but there's no CD player. So we just do Bluetooth off our phones.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't have any of those options. Well, she has the aux cord in her car, but hers is a 2004 Ford Focus, so hers is more updated than mine.
oh
Or
wow,
2014.
Kirsty,
2014. Yeah.
Kirsty had I think an '01 or an '02 Focus.
Okay, yeah.
Named it Sheila. Broke down in the middle of the interstate, the highway. So that was fun. That's another story
Is
for
that
another time.
is that the one that was in the vlog?
No, what are you
Okay.
talking about?
She had a car in a vlog.
Oh, that
The
like
one
that
you
she
got your
was
pictures.
hugging.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Sheila. Yeah, that was her
Okay.
car.
All right.
We sold it to her brother Lance, her stepbrother Lance, and he fixed it up. And everything.
Okay, so you're number one.
I
Who is
actually
your
have
all-time
I
favorite?
actually have an honorable mention.
Okay. Honorable mentions.
Oh boy. Honorable mention: Black Sabbath. I I love metal. I know all of these bands on here could be classified as hard rock, except the Beatles, like all the NCCR. But all these bands, they're classic rock, And to people out there who are ignorant about older music, sure, Black Sabbath might be considered classic rock to you. Black Sabbath, they're the pioneers of heavy metal. They were the first band to revolutionize it. Tony Iommi, he cut off his fingertips by accident. He worked at a steel mill. Cut them off by accident and quit that day, obviously. He got metal fingertips. And they grafted skin on there.
Okay.
I know, it sounds gross. I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Sorry.
But because of that, that is why like their sound is so doom, because the resonance from his fingertips that are metal and the strings obviously with science, that's why they sound so deep already. Then they add on their bass and everything and just make it sound even more hardcore. Like they kick ass. And I get goosies every time I talk about it, or chill bumps, or whatever you want to call them. I get goosies. Their first song on their first album, the song was called Black Sabbath. On the album Black Sabbath, it starts with thunder and rain and a church bell ringing. And it goes into the song. And the last song on their last album that they released, I see a smile forming. The last song on their last album they released in 2013, which the album was called 13, it ended with rain and thunder and a bell.
So they're done.
They're done. They
Okay.
called it. They released an EP afterwards and stuff, but that doesn't count. That's kind of older music. It's no new music. But that's just a hell of a way to end the career. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
holy fuck. Who the fuck does that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you have an honorable mention, Shane?
Oh, I probably have a ton that I could, Well, you were saying that I thought like 15, but obviously with more rap, Wayne, Lil Wayne, you
Sure.
gotta mention him. Um, yeah, and that's probably, I mean, Tim and Faith, because we saw him in concert and that was an awesome concert. But yeah, I'll stop it there because I could just probably say everyone I listen to
Yeah.
and like for the next 15 minutes. But go ahead, you
Do
can say
you
your number one.
do you
Oh,
want to
sorry,
guess my number one?
I I should be able to guess it, but I can't. Oh, is it Led Zeppelin?
My number one, Led Zeppelin. Very good.
Yes.
Led Zeppelin, I don't care. It's my opinion, sure, but it's also fact. Led Zeppelin is the best band of all time. And the best song of all time was released by them, and it's called Stairway to Heaven. That song is the perfect fucking song because it starts out with the pan flute and the guitar, the light acoustic guitar, then Robert Plant's melodic vocals come in, and then it just kind of they slowly work in the light, clean sounding electric guitar, and then it kicks in with the bass and the drums, and it starts getting a little more up tempo, and it just fucking ripping solo, and then it just gets heavy, and then it just calms back down, and that is can only be done properly by Led Zeppelin. But seriously, they are so great. They have every style of music you can think of. They've got it, and except rap and maybe ragtime. But whatever. Those don't really count. So Led Zeppelin, guys, they just
Well, you
they
know what the
what
I was gonna say, you know what the joke is about that song, Stairway to Heaven?
what?
No, it's just saying there's a song called Stairway to Heaven and Highway to Hell. It just shows how much traffic is going to each.
Sure, if you're stupid. No, but they just I that's another band that I went through a huge kick of about 4 or 5 years. That's like all I would care about was Zeppelin. Kirsty and I went and saw Robert Plant, who was the lead singer. We saw him a couple years ago in concert. That was amazing. I have every single album Led Zeppelin ever put out on vinyl, original release of all those albums. I mean, I've seen all their movies they came out with, which was like 2, but they were concert movies. They're wonderful. They're just simply wonderful, and I don't want to take up too much time because Shane's got one of his own. So go ahead, Shane.
Okay, I guessed yours, can you guess mine?
Um, Let me just see.
And I picked the overarching thing, not a band specifically, the one person.
Okay, see, I was going to say something corporate, but
You're close. It's
is it
Andrew
the
McMahon.
Andrew
Yeah,
McMahon? That's what I was going to
yeah,
say.
he's the lead. He's the front man for that band. He's the front man for Jack's Mannequin and some Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. I found Jack's Mannequin in high school and really liked their music, and then was super surprised that there was another band, something corporate that he was in that was more punk rock. He always jokes that people call it a punk rock band because it really wasn't. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and just he's only in his 30s, so like each album he grows, and obviously with me growing along with him, it kind of just fits my life. Each album that gets released, I could go off every song that he ever sang, but the Resolution is always a good one by Jack's Mannequin. That's just that piano at the beginning just gets me all the time because he plays piano. He always puts on a good show. I've seen him 6 times live, and it's always a good time to go watch him because he always brings the energy. And he's also a good role model, even though he says he's not, because everyone's human. When he was in his 20s, he found out he had leukemia,
Oh
and
wow.
he actually made a video called Dear Jack about it. What did his through his process and how he got better and all that. And now he has a foundation that he gives um, to kids because I guess teenagers are the people who are underfunded for cancer. Like the
Yeah.
kids and the older people and the women usually get it, but like teenagers are usually old teenagers, 20-year-olds and all that. But yeah, so he always has a foundation to give back to them and
Sure.
to help the people that helped him and all that.
That's really cool. Yeah, my great grandma, she was 27. She died of leukemia. So
Hmm.
it really it can
Yeah, it can strike at any time. It's just
anytime. That's really cool that he did that.
yeah, and like now at shows like you can get your cheek swabbed to be on the donor list to
Mhm.
get bone marrow because that's what saved his life, essentially. And yeah,
That's awesome. Well, okay. As you guys can probably tell, we could talk all day about our favorite bands and everything. But if you like what you hear, you know, thumbs up, comment, whatever. Rate us on iTunes. Rate us on everything that you can. Stitcher. Engage with us and we'll engage with you. Let us know what your favorite groups are and maybe we can do a segment of our listeners' favorite groups. So, with that, that's all I've got. Shane?
that's all I got.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys.